Hi, I'm Jason Walker. This is Walker Tea Review. We're coming to you in the springtime, the time of teas, time of green teas, and it just so happens that we have a green tea for you today. This is Jing's Anji Bai Cha, which the name can be a little confusing because it does have the word white in it, so first reaction may think, this is a white, but actually it's classified as a green. We're going to get it ready to go. I'm going to add a little bit more. We're going to spread some out as well so that we can look at it and talk about it. Need a little bit more than that though. Yes. Okay, set this aside for just a moment. I like to give teas a rinse. I still have people who ask, is it a good idea to rinse your tea? Why do you rinse your tea? How long should you rinse? I generally rinse only for a few seconds because yes, it does release flavor in that time, so I try to keep it as brief as possible. Other people would recommend as long as 30 seconds, but I think that really saps some of your good taste out. The reason why, of course, is to rinse off your leaves, get any kind of dust or particles that may have settled on there. Teas are sitting around in storage areas, and air is passing around, and it just helps to kind of also the heat of the rinse warms them up, activates them, and allows hopefully more of your flavor to come out. So we'll set this aside, give that. As we're doing that, let's zoom in on this package because I think this will have a little bit of information. As I mentioned, this is Jing's Anji Bai Cha. Again, it's word white is in it, Bai, but it's a green tea. The package, you will see 50 grams for 12.5 pounds. This is a UK company. Anji Bai Cha comes from Zhejiang province. It is a fair trade, although the label here says that this is organic, but does not mention it is fair trade. I believe, if I'm correct, the website listed this also as a fair trade product. Let me share a little bit of information here as far as steeping instructions. 1 tablespoon per cup infused for 3 minutes in 60 degrees Celsius water, or according to individual taste. Okay, some things that we're going to be expecting from our tea. Anji Bai Cha is known for its vibrant leaf colors. We're talking about almost a glowing green. Leaf shape we're going to talk about in just a minute. You know what, let's just go ahead and look at our leaf shape. Let's zoom in and look at our leaf and talk about what we're going to see here. Now, first off, I did mention a characteristic of Anji Bai Cha is that we have some bright green, almost kind of glowing green. And these leaves, yes, are a vibrant color. You'll see lengths that are as long as or longer than our 1 inch and 1/4 length paper clip. Also, you'll note the shape of these leaves are rolled or kind of scroll twisted the length of the leaf. Okay, let's back out and talk a little bit about that as well. I have seen some Anji Bai Chas that are pressed flat like a Jing type, like a dragon well leaf that has that. Some people would classify that as a grasshopper wing shape. This particular one does not have that. I'm torn between, because I've seen both types, I'm torn and I'm unclear, to be honest, which one is the more traditional, because it seems to be quite common to have both at this current time. Other things that we would expect, a little bit of brothiness or creaminess to it. We're looking for some vegetable notes, like a kind of asparagus to it. We can look for hints of a floral at the top, or faint characteristic of that. We expect light astringency. What else do I want to say? I do want to mention that middle to late April is the time that Anji Vaitas will be arriving in the U.S. in your local tea shops and online with your tea retailers. So this is the time, April, mid to late April, that you will see the first of the teas arriving and available. Okay, so this has had some time. I believe we can pour and serve and begin to see, are those characteristics present in what we have as well. One of the things I also note, and I'm going to kind of set these out, and so we may want to zoom in here as well, because I do want to note, look how bright, how vibrant these colors are. We have some neon green. I hope we can get this clearly. Rich, very spring, very tender looking colors in there, which is a positive sign. Also, you can see a pretty deep vein of the leaf that stands out, especially richer in color. Okay, that is a characteristic of this tea, and I'm hoping that is clear enough in our close-up here. Okay, so let me set that aside now so that we can talk a little bit more about the tea itself. See what we have. Now, again, as usual, I'm sharing this. I'm sharing what my experience is, what I'm tasting right in front of me. Also, I'm talking about previous tastings off camera, some things that I want to share and note, because different things happen from the first steep to the second steep to the following steeps. I'm going to breathe on this, going to let the swirl it around, let the air get to it. Okay, what I'm noticing here is I am getting that asparagus note that I mentioned. That's welcome. What else am I getting? A little bit of light astringency, not too heavy, so it's not going to just pucker you up exactly. I'm getting very little to no bitterness in this, which is a positive sign as well. As we said, this would be a good moment. Also, let's talk a little bit about the color. So let's get this ready to talk about for just a moment. Let's look at our color here. And again, we've got a greenish yellow hue to this. It is pretty clear. It is pretty bright and crisp looking in its color. That's a positive sign as well. We're happy with this color as well. Okay. Now, to really wrap this up and talk about what we have in front of us, yes, there was a bit of creaminess, especially when if you are to steep this with a lighter water temperature and not over steep. It does have a smoothness to it. It does fill out the palate as well. Other things, yes, there is that asparagus vegetable note to it. Like I said, some astringency. As it cooled off, I also picked up a nice touch of sweet element to it as well. Kind of a sweet pea. That sweet pea, by the way, I should mention, is something that you can smell in the leaf, the dry leaf, that is. So, sweet pea element. Now, on the other side, from my tasting notes and previous tastings, I did notice that the second pot, the flavor would have nearly disappeared. The flavor is quite fleeting. Again, this is a 2008 tea, so there's some age on this, which can be affecting and an issue of freshness, that the taste has dissipated with age. Teas are known as they are fresher. They have higher health benefits because the antioxidants, the elements in it that are really they really bring out the taste and the health, are packaged and stored in that healthy, fresh leaf. So we do have a profile that is slightly fleeting, but because of the taste, because of the color of the leaf and the dry leaf and the cup, we did see, and the wet leaf as well, we did have a very vibrant wet leaf. There is a lot of potential in this. A 2009 will most likely be very delightful for Jing's tea. So, saying all this, we have to give this an 80. We have to say wait or look forward to that 09 tea that will be arriving. If it hasn't already, it will be here very soon. We just talked about Jing's Anji Bai Cha. It's a green tea. I'm Jason Walker, and this is Walker Tea Review.